Welcome back, friends. This is Dr. Mlelwa Lecturers. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and to click the bell, then put all for more updates. To join our Telegram group for discussions, just click show more in the description. Then if you scroll down, you'll see the links for the O-level and the A-level group. Welcome back, students. This is coordination advanced biology session 23. Kwa hiyo kwenye hii session tutaenda kudiscuss kuhusu synapse. Nerve impulse ikishapita kwenye neuron lazima itafika kwenye sehemu ambapo itapita kwenye synapse. Sasa kimsingi ni kwamba synapse is the point ambapo tunaweza kusema kwamba is the point where axon of one neuron clubs or join the dendrite or cell body of another neuron without physical contact. So actually ni kwamba the word synapse come from two Greek word, syn, which is with, and apsis, which is knot. So that means to clasp, or synapse has a knot which marks the end of the axons. So actually synapse is the point where the axon of one neuron clubs or join the dendrite or cell body of another without physical contact. There is no physical contact between one neuron and the next. Instead, there is thin gaps called synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. Hasa hii inayozungumzwa hapa inazungumziwa kwa chemical synapse, sio kwa electrical synapse. Tutaenda kuona kwa electrical synapse ipoje. So the gaps between the two is around 20 micrometer in width. Synapses are usually found within the fine branches at the end of the axon of one neuron and dendrite or cell body of the another neuron. So synapses zinakuwa mwishoni mwa neuron. The number of synapses is usually very large, providing a large surface area for the transfer of information. So for example, kuna over 1,000 synapses may be found in the dendrite and cell body of a single motor neuron in the spinal cord. Some cells in the brain may receive up to 10 synapses. The synapse must be in some way pass information across itself from one neuron to the next. This is achieved in the vast majority of synapses by the chemical transmission. Although at some synapses the transmission is electrical. So we have the electrical and we have the chemical synapses. So the chemicals which transmit message across the synapses, they are called neurotransmitter substances. The two main ones in the peripheral nervous system, they are acetylcholine and noradrenaline. Tumeshazi discuss sana kuhusu acetylcholine na noradrenaline, although other include dopamine and serotonin. So neurons using acetylcholine as neurotransmitter are called cholinergic neurons, where those using noradrenaline, they are called adrenergic neurons. So noradrenaline is released by nerves in the sympathetic nervous system, whereas acetylcholine is released by the almost all other nerves except some in the brain. Amino acids such as L-glutamate are thought to be most widely used neurotransmitter in the brain. So in all we have over 40 substances which are used as the neurotransmitters, lakini actually ni kwamba tunazungumza sasa hizo mbili, acetylcholine and noradrenaline. Au tunazungumza some of the neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, or gamma butyric acid, which is called GABA. So another type of synapse with a similar function but a different structure exists between a terminal of the motor neuron and the surface of the muscle fiber. So tunapokuwa tuna msuli wote a muscle fiber pamoja na motor neuron, they synapse by what we call the neuromuscular junction. Kwa hiyo neuromuscular junction tutaenda kuiona huko mbele. So first tuone types of synapse. We have two major types of synapse, electrical and chemical. Chemical synapse is the synapse in which transmission of impulse are facilitated by chemical substance called neurotransmitter. Almost all synapses are used for signal transmission in the central nervous system of the human being are chemical synapses. In these, the first neuron secretes at its nerve ending synapse a chemical called a neurotransmitter, often simply called transmitter substance, and this transmitter in turn acts on the receptor protein in the membrane of the next neuron. Kwa hizi tutazidiscuss sana kuhusu hizo neurotransmitter. Kuna acetylcholine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, histamine, gamma aminobutyric acid, glycine, serotonin, glutamate au glutamic acid. Lakini all in all ni kwamba kwenye chemical synapse kemikali zinakuwa released kutoka kwenye presynaptic membrane. From there zinaenda kubind kwenye postsynaptic membrane. There zikisha bind zina generate a nerve impulse, zina cause depolarization and generation of the nerve impulse. And from there we have the electrical synapses. So electrical synapse hapa ina maelezo mengi kwa sababu we will not discuss it and we will not discuss it later again. So our cases of electrical synapse will end up here. Electrical synapses is the synapse in which the transmission of impulse are facilitated by the electrical charges, I mean. So in contrast to the chemical synapse, these are characterized by direct open fluid channel that conduct electricity from one cell to the next. Most of these consist of small protein tubular structures called gap junctions that allow the free movement of ions from interior of one cell to the interior of the next. So the electrical synapses, they are composed of the gap junctions. Only a few examples of the gap junctions have been found in the central nervous system. However, it is by the way of the gap junctions and other similar junctions that action potential are transmitted from one smooth muscle fiber to the next in visceral thymus muscles, and from one cardiac muscle cell to the next in the cardiac muscle. So actually the gap junction, they are more present in the heart and in the organs, and they allow the faster transmission of nerve impulses compared to the normal synapse. So in these electrical synapses, the bridging channel mediate an ionic current flow from one cell to the other, from one thread to the other. Transmission across the electrical synapse is very rapid without the synaptic layer of chemical synapses. Electrical synapses are also bidirectional in contrast. So as you have seen, we have some of the difference of the electrical synapse and the chemical synapse. For example, even the chemical synapse requires some of the energy from ATP, but the electrical synapse does not require. Here we have some of the difference. For example, junction between pre and post gap junction between pre and post synaptic membrane permit current to flow passively. Kati huku no current in a flow. Say higher. Transmission is extraordinarily fast because no synaptic delay. Lakini huku there is synaptic delay of 0.5. Huku transmission of nerve impulse is bidirectional. Kati kwenye chemical synapses is one direction. Then membranes of the two communicating neurons come extremely close to at the synapse and they are actually linked together by an exterior specialized called a gap junction. Specialization called a gap junction. Wakati huko nakuta no direct contact between pre and postsynaptic neuron, kuna hiyo space. Gap junction can allow passage of ATP and second messenger wakati nyingine haziwezi. Kwa tukija kuangalia kwenye diagram tofauti kati ya electrical na chemical synapse, this is how they appear. A ni electrical synapse, hapa ni chemical synapse. So electrical synapse ukija kuangalia hapa ni panaonekana hivi. Tukimagnify unaona there are direct channels. So this is the presynaptic membrane, this is the postsynaptic membrane. There is the direct membrane here. Direct membrane and has the direct channel called. That's all about what electrical synapse do. Kati tukiangalia enzymes zinakuwa released hapo, au chemicals zinakuwa released hapo, zinakuwa detected by yule pale. Na hizi hapa zina uwezo kutengeneza action potential kwa haraka zaidi kuliko hizi hapa. So in this session, let I end up here. In the next session, we'll be looking at the structure of synapse. Thank you everybody. Don't forget to share and to subscribe the channel.